friend Blackstone, and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun content. It's completely free to subscribe. I would love to have you as part of my crafty family here. And all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button down below. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to use playground.com with your Cricut. There are lots of different ways to use it, so I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites and how you work with Playground to create your designs. I made this design here on Playground and printed it as a DTF print and pressed it to my shirt. So that's one option that I'm going to show you because it's a really easy way to make your own custom designs. I'm going to go over everything that is Playground, all about it, and how to use it. Now, if you have any questions, always let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Without further ado, let's get started. So first off, what is AI and why is everybody talking about it? AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is basically a computer system trained to recognize patterns, learn from data, and generate new ideas. That's how we get smart tools that can write, draw, and design. There's a lot of controversy around AI, and I am fully aware of that. But I would say do your own research, decide kind of what you think about it and how you feel about it, and that will base on whether you're comfortable using it or not. Now, here's what makes Playground different. Unlike most AI tools that scrape random images from the internet, Playground starts with real human-made artwork. So they're not just picking up stolen artwork from other designers to begin their process. They start with drawn things that people that work for Playground make. That means that their AI design is rooted in original creative work from actual artists. And that's why their results are really good, but also, in my mind, a little bit more sustainable and a little less of a problematic issue. Do your own research on AI. I'm going to leave a couple links down below if you'd like to learn a little bit more about AI and how it works and what it is and all of those things. But I just ask that when you comment, you keep it kind. If you don't like AI, you can absolutely skip this video by all means. Please feel free. But I'm going to leave some links if anybody else wants to learn about some more things about AI. So whether you're making shirts or stickers or decals or whatever we're going to show you how to make in this video, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer those for you. But again, I just ask that you keep your comments kind. If you have a differing opinion on AI, that's totally okay. You are welcome to share it, but share it in a kind way. Thank you so much. And without further ado, let me show you around Playground. This is your home screen on playground.com, and I know it looks a little overwhelming, but I promise you this is really, really easy. I'm going to show you around first before we get started with designing. Now you'll want to sign up for an account, and you can do a free account if you'd like to, but you do get a lot more with the pro account, and I'll link playground.com below if you want to sign up. I do really love it, and I've been using it for a while, and it has really upped my game with my designs. But what you're going to see here is you have the Playground logo. That'll just take you back to your home screen. You have the create option, which is this screen. This screen here is showing you all of your different pre-made designs. Then you have this templates screen. And if you click on that, you'll see that it has some things that's like, oh, we saw that you liked cats. Here's some of your recently viewed designs. And then here are your popular new templates that they've put out. We also have some more trendy things. So boats and maritime things are trending right now. Books are, of course, trending. Summertime, Father's Day, graduation season, templates, and all sorts of things. So that's where you'll find some of their trendy designs. And then you have your library. So you have my designs, which you'll see this is all designs that I have made with Playground. So it's got a ton of different things that I've played around with, or I have tried to make work, or things I've made for videos. So there's lots of designs here, and you've probably seen some of these if you follow me at Corinne Creates It. And then you have this shared with me option, which this always cracks me up. So this is, wow, such empty. Design shared with you will show up here. This is probably not something you're going to use a lot. I've never used it, but it does kind of have all the things. Then you have this What's New tab down here, and if you click that, it's going to tell you that we've added ad templates. There's different fonts now that you can use, and they usually have a little video that'll tell you kind of how to access that. And then they've got all these different informational things that, you can look at what's new. They also do have an iOS app if you'd rather use the app, but I do prefer to use the website. Now I am just going to go back to their home screen, and I do want to show you around a little bit on their designs. So I'm just going to randomly choose stickers just so I can show you around this page really quick. And it'll look pretty much the same in each of the pages, just with different designs. So you can see here that they have all these different like design words that you can choose from, or you can search for something. So if you want to find something specific, you're looking for a cactus, you're looking for a cowboy hat, whatever it may be, you can search for that. Now down here is where you can kind of tell it like what you want to make, and you can start from scratch, which is definitely an option, or you can choose one of the designs and then you can prompt it here. Now this right here is where you choose model. So this is two different versions. So you can do high quality, precise editing, which is what I tend to use a lot of. You can see it tells you how many designs you have left. I have 37 left. Mine resets like next week. And then you have the Playground V3, which is the fast with more images. That's going to give us 4 options. I'll show you a little bit more about that as we're designing, but I just wanted to kind of show you that. You can also add an image for like a reference image where you can click on that and it'll open up your pictures, and you can add something like a reference image. And I'll show you how to do that as well because it is really handy. You have all sorts of different options here. You have change style, create image, import an image, resize, change the color palette, put in a mock-up. This one can change your face style. You also have erase object and text and add a rectangle. Say we don't want to use this design. I just come over here and I can either click explore and it'll kind of show me some options, or click these 2 lines and just go back to the playground main page. Simple as that. Now I want to start with like a very simple cut file. So I just kind of want to make something that you can cut very easily, super simple, and you can really look in any of your categories. Coloring book pages are usually pretty good to find some stuff. Hats are always really good too. Same with t-shirts. You can always find something to kind of start with in any category, but you can definitely find some really fun projects. So let's scroll through and find something that we like that we'll just do like as a single color design. This one is really cute. So this Stay Sweet with the strawberries, it's this Fruit of the Spirit. We'll click that one and choose that because I think that one is really adorable. So click on that design, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this with the Playground V3 to show you what that looks like. So with this, let's go ahead and let's change to, oops, my keyboard didn't click on. Let's change the fruit to let's do lemons, and let's tell it to remove the text and replace with, let's do sunshine of my life in a circle around the lemons. From here, once you've kind of got what you want, you really play around with prompting. Prompting is a matter of figuring out what you need to tell AI to do. And it's not always going to come out perfect the first time you try. Now you can see you've got your different designs. So this one's probably like the best one that we have out of the options. There are definitely some flaws. And that's the one thing with AI that you have to understand is it's not going to be perfect the first time. And especially using the PGV3, I don't find that one works as well, especially with text. Like, look at this one. That one's a little crazy, right? So we like this one. It's pretty good. So what I want to tell it to do now is for doing things when you want to just cut them on like one single color. I'm going to tell it to simplify the design. And let's tell it to do simplify the design, minimalist style. I totally spelled minimalist wrong. Minimalist style. Let's fix that. Minimalist style. Make this like a vector graphic. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. And like I said, I do prefer to use the 4, but if you are using a free account, you will only be able to do it with the Playground V3. But that's one of the reasons I really like Pro. So while it didn't necessarily simplify my design, I do actually like this one a heck of a lot better. So this one's pretty cute, and I do think that it could work for what we want to do. Now I'm doing this in real time so that you can kind of see how things are impacted. So let me try, and I'm going to show you with the 4.0 or the 4.0 image. So what I want this to do is, let's tell it to make the lemons better shaped and correct the text to say sunshine of my life. And then you want to use what's called a negative prompt, which is where I tell it not to do something. So I do not want it to move the lemons or the text out of the shape shape it is in. So by using a negative, it tells it what I don't want it to do. So I don't want it to move the text. I want it to stay in that same shape, but I do want it to fix it and correct some of the other issues. Now you can see a huge difference by using that 4.0. It really does the text beautifully, and the lemons are pretty good. I think they're in a decent shape, but again, I'm not loving it. I want it to make the leaves, I want it to like remove the leaves maybe. So what I can do is I can say remove the leaves, but do not move or change anything else on the design. So again, using that negative prompt. And like I said, you're going to have to try a couple different things. You're going to get used to using this. This is perfect. I love it. This is exactly what we're going for. Something very simple, clean lines, super easy to work with. So once you've got this, what you're going to do is you're going to export this. Now, if you don't have a pro account, you can just download this and then upload this into Cricut Design Space. However, I have pro, so what I like to do is I upscale this and remove the background, and it'll do that for me. Now you can see what it's left me with is this design that doesn't have any background. So now all I have to do is click download upscaled, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure to put this into my folder. So we're going to save this to the PG for Cricut, and you can change the name of it if you want to. You do not have to. And let's go over to Cricut. I'm going to show you how to upload this. Here in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to click Canvas, and then I'm going to choose Upload. I'm going to upload my image, and I'm going to click Browse. Then I'm going to go to the folder that I saved it in and select this image. Now this is a PNG with a transparent background. If you don't have Pro, you'll need to remove the background yourself, but since we have Pro, we don't need to do that. Now what you're going to see is it's going to bring up our design here in just a second. This is an upscaled image, so it is a really high quality image, so it might take Design Space a minute to process. Then if you look at it here with your single line, you'll see that you have all of your different items. Now I'm going to click Apply and Continue and choose the single layer because this is what we're going to cut, and I'm going to click Continue. Now you can change your image name here and add any keywords that you might want to, or put it into any of your collections. And again, this might take a second to process. Now I'm going to click Upload, and I'm going to put it into my canvas. Now I want you to note that it is huge. That's just because, again, it is a high quality image. So I'm going to size it down. Now this does have a few little spaces that I'd like to get rid of in the lemons. So because of that, I'm going to go down to Contour. And in Contour, if you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, you'll see that you find all these teeny tiny dots. And these are going to be the teeny tiny dots that are inside your lemons that you really don't necessarily want it to cut. From here, you can also get rid of any of these little dots if you don't want them. It's truly up to you. Keep them, don't keep them. But I don't like the little cuts inside the lemons, so I do want to get rid of those. Now I'll just go ahead and change this to yellow so you can get kind of a view of what it's going to look like. I think this is super cute. So we'll find something to put this on, and we're going to cut it out. I'm not going to show you all those steps because this isn't really necessarily for showing you how to go any further with Design Space, but I'll link some helpful videos down below for different things that we're going to kind of gloss over in this one, because this video is more for how do I take my designs from Playground and put them into my Design Space. Now let's say you want to get into something a little bit more advanced. You want to make a multicolor layered decal, which you could use with vinyl, HTV, cardstock, whatever you want to do. You can pretty much go into any of these sections to find a design that you want. But again, I'm just going to use stickers, which, like I said, this is my favorite section. Now I'm going to find something super cute that we can use, and I'm kind of thinking I want to do something that has a few colors. You don't want to go too crazy. So for example, something like this right here would not come out very good as an SVG with so many colors because it's really shaded, it's 3D aspect, kind of looks more like a photo, so that's not something that would work. This black cat would work amazing, super easy. The Go Bills one, also something super simple. But there are a few that just are not going to work, and you'll kind of play around and figure out which ones those are as you start working with your Cricut and your design. Now, this little flamingo is so stinking cute, so let's try him out and just see if we can get this into a design that we could use with some vinyl or HTV. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this to make this a color block design, block style, and then I'm going to tell it think vector graphic, which is what an SVG is. An SVG is a scalable vector graphic, and oh my gosh, I cannot type today. So I'm going to see what happens if I tell it to make this color block style think vector graphic. We'll just give it a minute to process and see what comes out. All right, it came out pretty cute. Now, is it great? No, but will it work for a Cricut layerable design? Yes, and I'm going to show you how to do that because it is actually pretty simple with a design like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to export, which is up here at the top. Now again, I could upscale and remove the background, but I'll just download this as is for now and click save. So let's go to Design Space. In Design Space, we're going to upload our image by clicking Upload Image and browsing for it. And we'll just find our flamingo. Now, the key to a design like this is that we really want it to be the outline, and then we can come through and add the colors in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple things. First, changing that color tolerance up to 100, and I'm going to remove the background, and then you want to click anywhere that isn't going to be a black color. So you're going to click away all the parts of his hat, all the parts of his wings, his little legs. Don't forget the space between his legs, and then you're good. Now you can preview that layer with this little preview single layer just to make sure you got rid of all the parts that you wanted to. Then click apply and continue. I'm going to save him as a single layer image and click continue, and then just click upload. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to add some color to this little guy because it is super simple. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate him. And the first thing that I'm going to do is create the solid background that we're going to layer on. So I click contour and then I just click hide all contours. And now we have a solid image that we're going to layer the other colors on top of. I'm going to right click on this one and just send it to the back so he's out of the way. Now I want to duplicate this guy and we'll start with his hat. So I'm going to go to contour. What you're going to do is you're going to get rid of all the outline. You can kind of see down here where he becomes the different pieces. You want to click anything that isn't going to be part of his hat. So you want to get his body and his little eyeball and all of that, and then you have his hat. I'll go ahead and make the hat brown, and I'm going to put that on top of our black layer. Then we're going to go ahead and duplicate again, and I'm going to contour him. And this time I'm going to do anything that's going to be the light pink. So the light pink is going to be his body. So I'm going to get rid of his eyeball. I want to get rid of the outline. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make these. This wing will be, I think, light pink, but we'll do the dark pink for the bottom of his wing. So we'll do that. And now you see you kind of have his body. So let's make this one. I'm going to use the advanced just so I can get like a better look of what he's going to look like. So I'm going to make like a bright pink body. Okay. And then again, you're going to pull that over and just kind of set it over here. Then we'll go ahead and we're going to duplicate this again, and we're going to contour. And actually, I see I made a mistake in his legs, so I'll fix that in just a minute. Now I'm going to get rid of all the pieces and parts that are not going to be his darker pink areas. So I'm going to get rid of his legs. Oops. And just the tip of his wing is going to be like a darker pink. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm just going to select like a darker pink. And there we go. Now that gives him a little definition of his wing. Now I am going to go in here and fix this little spot right here so that he has a separation between his legs. This is going to be our last piece, so we can just contour this one. And I only want to keep his legs. And I'm going to make his legs yellow just so he looks a little more like a flamingo should. And again, we'll get rid of that little middle piece, and then I'm gonna make his legs. I think Flamingo's legs are kind of orange. I don't really know. I don't really see flamingos a whole lot. But one thing I did notice is that I did forget to leave his eyeball out of his little pink part. So I can just go back into contour and bring his little eyeball back in. And now he has an eye. Now, if I don't want the eye pink, which I don't think I do, I'm going to go ahead and hide that little dot. And then I'm just going to add my own small circle for his eye by just opening up a circle. Now, this is one of the things with Design Space that I don't love, is that it's really hard to bring in images from spaces that, you know, other places that you may want to use. But look at that. He's really cute, super easy to do in the long run, and I think he came out pretty good. I don't think he looks too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and save him, and I'll cut him out and show you what he looks like all done. Another way that I love to use Playground is for my print then cut images. So with print and cut, you can really pretty much go ham on colors, designs, really whatever you want, you can pretty much use. But what I love is they do have a stickers section, which is a great section to start with, especially if you're getting used to working with, you know, different print and cut or with AI. So what I love is I can kind of just scroll through and see if there's anything that really like sticks out to me as something that I would like to make. So there's, I mean, just so many different stickers in here and designs and all sorts of really, really cute things. Some are a little unhinged, like a deer in a alien spaceship. Why? I don't know. But you can really kind of just find whatever works for you. So let me scroll through, find something I want to make, and we'll make something really cute. All right, this hamster, super cute. So let's use him. Now, I'm not really a boba tea drinker or anything like that, but let's ask it. Let's see, what if the hamster was holding an iced coffee and a breakfast sandwich? So we just kind of tell it what we want. And what if is a great prompt for AI, because AI understands that you want to change it to this item. Look at how cute it came out. Looks really good. And you can tell that it's made to become a sticker because it has this little white outline. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to export. And for this one, I will just download this as is. That way you can see how to upload this to Design Space if you don't upscale and remove the background. But truly, upscaling and removing that background is going to give you the best quality image to use with Cricut. Now over in Cricut Design Space, click upload, upload the image, and you can browse for it. Find your little hamster, click continue, and remember we didn't remove the background, so we're going to need to do that now by just clicking on it. Now I want you to note that if I go to preview single layer, do you see how it left a lot of this background edge here? We don't want it to do that, so I'm going to click undo, and I'll turn off the preview. Go down to color tolerance, change it to 100, and then click this. Then preview that single layer, and now you have the nice clean edge. We'll add the offset ourselves, so it's easy to do it this way. Now you want to save this as a flat graphic because you'll notice that this has a lot of shading, a lot of colors. This would not be something that I would personally want to cut with vinyl and layer it. Now I'm going to go ahead and click upload, and it'll put it into our Design Space. And you'll see here you have your little hamster. Then all you have to do is just add a little offset to it, and you can do that on your own. Make it whatever size you want. Click apply, change that offset color to white, select both items and flatten. And now your little hamster is ready to print. But I want you to note here that it does say that it's a little bit of a low resolution image, and that's because we didn't upscale it. But that again is a pro item. You don't have to do it, but it will give you the option to make a little bit better quality of an item. Now, obviously, if I size this down, because I'm not going to make an 8-inch sticker, it cuts and prints fine, so we'll leave it as that. Now I'll show you what these look like printed out, because again, I'm not going to go through all of the different steps. I will link videos down below. Now this is something really fun to do with Playground. It's one of my favorite things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload my own image by coming over here to upload and edit image. I'm going to use this adorable picture of my dog, and what I'm going to tell it to do is I want it to create a line drawing of this. So there are a lot of ways you can prompt it, but what I'm going to do is say, turn this image into a line drawing perfect for cutting with HTV. And I want it to remove the background. So I don't want any of like the little details, the shading or her leash that's in there. I don't want any of that there. So all we have to do is click go and it'll do its thing. And it has processed, and look at how cute this came out. It looks so much like her. Now I can keep it just like this. I don't have to do anything special to it if I don't want to. You can always prompt it to change it if you'd like to, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it as is. So now what I can do is I can click export. And again, I can use the upscale and remove background, which like I said, for images like this is something I highly recommend. We're going to do a few changes in Design Space for this because there are some parts that are going to be a little difficult to cut with vinyl or HTV, but I'll show you how to do that in Design Space. Once it's done that, I can go ahead and download the upscaled version and save it into my folder. Then we're going to upload it to Cricut. In Cricut, go ahead and click Canvas and click Upload. And then we're going to upload that image that we just downloaded here into our Cricut Design Space. So this is the design. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now, because we upscaled and removed that background, again, we don't have to do any of that selection of removing the background on this screen right here. So I'm going to go ahead, click apply and continue. Now you want to save this as a single layer if you intend to cut this with vinyl, HTV, whatever it may be, but you could use this as a print and cut as well, so just keep that in mind. This section is where we can add any of those tags, change the image name, whatever we want to do, but I never do any of that. So we're going to upload this into our Design Space. Now you are going to see it is absolutely giant, but I do want to show you that it is this big because you can kind of see a little bit more of like the details in it. And there are some really small little like dots here and there just from the image itself. And that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just leave them because if it doesn't weed, I'm not super concerned about it. Like these little dots on the nose. But if for some reason you do want to get rid of those, you can go into your contour option and you can click on those little lines to get rid of them if you want to. Again, you don't have to. Now, because there are so many small pieces in this, contour may take a little while to process. Like I said, that did take a little while to process, and that's totally okay. Now, a quick little trick is you can go all the way down to the bottom, and this is where you're going to see basically nothing. But if you click on these are all these little micro dots that are just kind of never going to really weed. So you can really get rid of a lot of these little micro dots by just clicking on them. Now, there are a lot of them, so this could take you a minute or two, but I think in the long run, to save yourself time cutting, this is completely worth it. And you'll notice that the design really isn't changing. It's just getting rid of all of these teeny little micro dots that, like I said, are never going to weed anyways. So I like to just try to get rid of them just so I don't have to deal with it. And it's just going to be a lot quicker for your Cricut to cut because it's not going to be trying to cut out all of these itsy bitsy teeny tiny dots that mean nothing to your design. So let me go ahead and get rid of a lot of these little tiny dots, and then I'll show you our next item. You'll also notice that the dots are getting a little bit larger as I'm kind of going, and that's kind of how contour goes. It just has all of the dots and they get bigger and bigger as you go. Now, I do want to leave a lot of the larger dots, but you can see here right on his nose where there were all those little tiny dots, they're gone. And now you just have like some bigger spaces. And then same with like around the mouth, a lot of those micro dots are gone. So it's going to cut a little bit better. Now I am going to just size this down. He's huge. I mean, gigantic. We don't need this big of an image. So we'll size it down. And now what you'll see once I find it on the screen, there it is. You'll have this adorable image of a dog that you can, again, cut with HTV, vinyl, whatever you want to do. I'm going to cut him and show you what this looks like. And I keep calling it him. It's my dog. She's a girl. But I do think it looks really cute. And this is going to be such a fun way that you can make really adorable items that are really unique, really personal, and it's so easy with AI. Another really fun thing to do with the upload and edit image is to make cartoon versions of your images. So I'm going to upload an image. I'm going to use this one of me and these foster cats. I love this picture. These cats were so stinking cute. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this to make this a cartoon style image, and I want to remove the background because we don't really need that part. And we'll tell it to go ahead and do its thing. Now, this isn't quite what I pictured. It looks a little bit weird, but that's okay. So if we don't love it, we can just tell it to do maybe a different style. And you can go down here and change your face style. So you can see there's all these different ones. And this is sort of kind of the look I was going for, more of like a kawaii style. So let's try that and see what that does. Now, again, still not quite what I was going for, but getting there. So if you're still unhappy with it, what you can do is then prompt it. You want to say, change the style to a kawaii style image, remove the background, because I don't want the junk in the background, even if it's swirlies and twirlies, I don't want them. This is definitely much more like what I was picturing. I wanted it to be cutesy and fun, but just a little more abstract. So this was definitely what I wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click export. Now, again, I can upscale and remove the background, or I could just upscale it so that I make sure I get a better quality image. So I'm just going to upscale it for this one, and I'll remove the background in Cricut Design Space. Once I've done that, I simply download the upscaled version, save it into my folder, and head over to Cricut. Over in Cricut, we're going to upload the image. We're going to click upload image, browse for it, select that design, and then you can go through and delete that background if you want to. It's up to you. But I think I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I don't want a square sticker. I'd rather have it kind of be like a die cut. Or I could use this as a card. I could print this out on printable HTV, whatever I want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and upscale or change the color tolerance to 100. And then I'm just going to click and remove the pink little background section. I'm going to just preview the single layer. Edges look good. And then I'm going to apply and continue. Now for this one, like when we did the sticker, I'm going to choose the flat graphic and click continue. Again, I can add an image name, any tags that I want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and upload this image, and it's going to take a second because it is a high quality image, meaning that I'm going to be able to print this a little bit larger without losing any of the detail or the sharp edges, anything like that. It's going to print out really nicely. Now, of course, it did load really large, which we knew, so I'm going to go ahead and size this down so we can see it fully. But you'll notice that unlike the other print and cut where we didn't upscale it, I don't have that issue with this yellow triangle. Now, I do have the red one because it's too big to print if I make it that big, but I can print this quite a bit larger, and it's going to print no problem with great details. So again, I'll print this out so that you guys can get a look at it, and I'm going to add an offset to this as always because I just prefer an offset. I'm going to make this a little bit of a smaller offset, click apply, and then I can make it any color that I want to. It doesn't have to be white, but I do prefer the look of a white one, but you can also add a pattern to them. So there's a lot that you can do with these and have fun with it. Just kind of make them your own, whatever you want to do with them. I want to show you a way that you can use this feature with a reference photo in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is look up anything that has a dog, and I want to use a coloring page. So I don't really love that one, but this one I think will be really good. So I'm going to choose this coloring book page. And what I'll do is I'm going to use this little plus button to add my image. And I'm going to use a picture of my friend's dog sitting on a pool deck. So what I'm going to do is I want to tell AI to take that image and turn it into a coloring page. So take the reference, which again, I don't know why I can never spell reference. I never put enough E's in it. Reference photo and make it into a coloring page like this one. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. We'll see what it does with the background. Sometimes it messes with it. Sometimes it doesn't. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Oh my gosh, that is super cute. Though I don't know that I love that she's sitting, but I still think it looks really cute. But now if I want to change this up a little bit, so let's make this more like the original where she was standing on a pool deck. So let's say keep the dog the same, but make the background like a pool party, include pool floats. Oh my gosh. Beach towels, beach balls, anything that would make a pool party fun. And we'll see what it does with that. Sometimes it does get a little overwhelmed, but I like to see if it will take that direction and make the image. Okay, so it did definitely take my direction, but remember, I wanted it to be a coloring page, which means all these colors can't really work. So what I'm going to do is tell it to keep everything the same, but make this a coloring page. Because this is super cute and I love the background, I love the floaties, but I just want to be able to make it a coloring page. I think it's super cute. It's going to be a really, really cute coloring page. And I'm going to show you how we can use this with both our Cricut, or you can just print it. I'm going to go ahead and export it. Now, for this one, you don't need to upscale it or anything. You can just save as is, but I am going to go ahead and upscale and remove the background because I do want to try to use this with my Cricut. Now in Cricut, we can just upload the image. Like always, we're not doing anything groundbreaking. And there's our design. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now again, we have removed the background, so we don't have to worry about anything there. This is so cute. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and click apply and continue. And we're going to go ahead and save this as the single layer design and click continue. Now again, this is really big. They all come in really big when you make them so that you can, use them as is, but they're going to be really high quality. Now I do need to make this so that it's going to fit onto our Cricut. Now what's cool about this is I could do this in a lot of different ways. So if I want to cut this on HTV and press it to something, then use some paint or some markers or something like that for somebody to color this in, I could do that. I can also take this and change this over to a pen, and I can have the Cricut write this out on a piece of paper or cardstock to be colored in. There are so many ways that you can use this, but for this tutorial, I am going to have this write it out on a pen just so you can see what it looks like. And here's everything that we made with playground.com. The line drawing of my dog, I think, came out really, really nice. And all the projects were super fun and super easy. Now, again, if you have any questions, by all means, please let me know in the comments down below. I've linked Playground and some resources on AI down below as well. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, do your own research. This is such a fun way to make designs, and they're yours to keep. Playground does give you the copyright to your images, so you can sell them digitally, sell them as physical products, or use them in any program that you want to. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.